Hello everyone and welcome back to Diablo 3. And we are hopping straight back to Ariat Crater. And I'm summoning the Gargantuan. Let me just check. Firebomb, Fire Bats, Wall of Zombies, Mass Confusion and Spirit Walk. Okay. Just trying to work out what skills I actually have at the moment. Ah, frames.
Maiden of lust, I have need of your ample services. Drag yourself out of whatever carnal corner of the burning hells you lounge in, and bring your daughters with you. Be wary. The enemy has proven to be both cunning and strong. But the mortals have always been easy prey for you, have they not?
The truth burns you. I do not have enough.
There is one thing to be said about the Maiden of Lust, which I guess I'll get to more in detail later. But she's one of those bosses, enemies that never worked for me at all. It seems so unfitting in a way. Where she's supposedly, she is called the Maiden of Lust, and we're gonna see more of her as we progress. And I think they could have done substantially more to make that concept cool.
Fate smiles. Cheers.
Yay. Just because there is a well-known, or rather a well-established concept of the whole seducing demon in, like the demon in female form seducing men to do evil deeds.
My strike is true.
It's something that's quite common in especially European stories. Probably propagated by the biblical idea that evil came into the world by a woman. It's not only biblical, of course. We've got the Box of Pandora, which is a similar story. So, I guess a female demon that's like seducing people really does make sense. But then in the stories, those demons will always take the shape of beautiful women until the man is completely enticed and has no will of his own anymore, and only then do they reveal their final and rather unpleasant shape. And there's tons of these stories. That's not very surprising to you. However, here the Maiden of Lust really isn't very, I don't know, I guess lustful. She just has no attractive qualities about her, I guess. She is rather unattractive. So, I mean, I realized this game was meant to be kept PG-12, so if that's the right phrase. I guess different countries use those differently. Anyway, they didn't want this to be restricted, to have severe age restrictions. So that's why you're not gonna see a sort of half-naked proper female trying to seduce the hero.
Misbegotten kind is creation's greatest sin, but your time is done. You will find only death in my realm.
That's fine. Let's check out our new skills. Okay, we get the acid cloud back with the blob bomb. Okay, which apparently the acid forms into slime that irradiates enemies. Instead of the gargantuan, we get a fetish army. Summon an army of dagger-wielding fetishes to fight by your side for 20 seconds. The fetishes attack for 20% of your weapon damage as physical. Great. And a new passive skill. Fetish sycophants. Okay. Whenever I use any of those spells, I have a chance to get another fetish which fights for 60 seconds. I'm assuming there's going to be some limit on the number of those as well. Or otherwise Spirit Vessel, which is a very powerful defensive spell, so I'm just going with the fetishes. So yeah, I can obviously see why they wouldn't include a physically attractive enemy in the game. But I would have preferred if they did, basically.
These poor things live in eternal torment.
There you have it. How is that lustful or attractive, or how is that ever going to seduce a normal human? Quote unquote normal, because technically we're not normal.
The Heraldric Scrolls describe hulking phase beasts as sin made flesh. Asmodan granted them great power, allowing the beasts to shift in and out of sight at will. It is believed that the Lord of Sin only looses the phase beasts against uncommonly clever enemies who cannot be bested with tooth and claw.
Yay! Fight for me, my fetishes. Okay, so I don't have them showing up here, so that might mean that there actually is no limit on them. Anyway, I just picked up something I didn't want. And I actually have to apologize slightly because I forgot I was doing full exploration, and I think in the last map I skipped bits. So I will be doing full exploration now, though.
I once met a raving drunk who claimed he had wrestled with a succubus, a demonic creature that possesses the form and face of a beautiful woman. He said she cursed him and tore out the heart of his friend before he made a narrow escape. Really, young men are given to such exaggeration these days.
Woohoo! And again, the succubi as well. Whoever calls these young and attractive women has probably never seen a young and attractive woman. It just doesn't work. And as I said, I can see why they couldn't really do that. Still, they should have dropped the concept altogether if they couldn't make it work. That's just my opinion, though. The levels in here, by the way, are fairly small, since we are just going down this kind of tower thing. I guess that might make them good places to farm, simply because a fairly high mob density is good for farming in this game. At least from what I gather from like the farming tutorials and stuff people did. To be quite honest, I've never really done much power farming, I guess. For me, it always boils down to just playing through an act or two on Inferno, and that will give you some money anyway. Enough to easily get through anyway. And then if you wait for good deals on the auction house, you can get fairly good items for fairly cheap.
Oh, you've met my daughters, I see. Are you enjoying their company?
Angry naked women are attacking me? This is my summer in Westmarch all over again.
Yeah. I guess they could talk about naked women, they just couldn't show them.
I feast on their agony, their eternal anguish.
So she's talking about, perhaps you've noticed in the background, these huge things, which are basically being tortured 24/7 because she likes that. Again, not much of a lust thing. For example, you would expect if she is like the seducing demon who makes men her slave or something like that, you would expect to have to fight, I don't know, some of the men who succumbed to her.
I've seen men's throats slit and children starve in dens of pestilence and filth, but I've never seen anything like this.
You would expect having to fight those she basically took in the past. You should note, of course, that well, whenever I play a game, I do try to also tackle the negative aspects. These are kind of minor points, especially in this type of game where
Your presence pleases me. Every step brings you closer to my embrace.
like these aren't points which majorly break the game or make it unfun. As I said, this is basically criticism on a high level. Just trying to point out things that I would have preferred to see, but as I also said, I can see they really didn't have much choice in the matter. And there we have the slime, by the way, from the acid cloud.
That was all of them.
And I do just sometimes summon the fetish army, I guess, for fights like that. Just because I can. One thing that the succubi do, which is quite dangerous, is this bloodstar thing. It basically causes me to... Whenever I use a spell that has a resource cost, like all my spells, pretty much. I believe Spirit Walk, it has a cost, yeah. The Fetish Army doesn't, so that's okay. But basically, whenever I use something that has a resource cost, I lose life equal to that resource cost, basically. And, like, depending on your build, that's kind of irrelevant. For example, on I think it was my monk, I was most of the time just using left-click attacks. For the monk, it also reduces armor. I'm not even certain if it does damage, but I think it does. But the point is, if you're not using attacks that cost resource in any way, or a barbarian using his auto attack which generates fury instead of costing fury, then you obviously don't care, because it doesn't last that long and you can just hold off your big expensive attacks until then. But for example, on my wizard, I was rather dependent on using Disintegrate, which is a fairly expensive spell, so I was really using my resource, Arcane Power, a lot. So that was always a bit of a pain on the wizard. I guess I do have enough health on this character that it just doesn't matter very much. And also, Happy New Year, because this is the first episode I'm recording in the new year. Well, hey. Which tells you something about my pre-recording habits. Which I know it's not so good
pain and suffering you're enduring. You must be dying to meet me.
It makes it difficult for me to quickly react to feedback in the videos. So I will obviously be responding to comments usually within 20 minutes of them being posted, sometimes longer of course, but I do respond to comments very quickly.
Needs more time.
But I can't quite do that for
You're a dead corpse.
haha. For example, if someone tells me he wants, I don't know, he wants to see conversations being done differently, like talk to this guy first, or maybe telling me that I've forgotten a certain conversation that I can't get at a later point or something like that. It's going to take a while before I can tackle those problems in the video, so the thing is that to me it just it doesn't make sense to play 20 minutes a day, basically.
The chains tear at their flesh. Hear their screams. Such sweet music.
So I am definitely trying to not overdo it with the pre-recording, but at times I have had 10, 15 videos just already done and uploaded. It's largely because I do actually like the games I play, otherwise I would definitely not make videos of them. And I don't know if you ever get that, but when you have a game and you really like it, then firstly, since I do the videos, I want to show the game that I like.
You are so eager. I suppose I should introduce myself. I am Sedea, Maiden of Lust, Consort of Asmodee.
I think we've met before.
So yeah, she can only take half damage and then she runs away. As you can see, I'm currently not decreasing her health
How
anymore.
invigorating. Play with my daughters. I do not wish to tire you out.
Oh, those are her daughters, of course. Again, they do not really look like attractive women to me, as I said before. But anyway, the thing is, when I do play the game, I really want to
I can
firstly
feel the blood hemorrhaging from the sin heart. Oh, you won't pay for this.
I want to share that game, and I also want to play it, so I just start recording, and 2 hours later I notice I've done like 6 episodes, and I keep going anyway. I do not like these phase beasts because of their teleporting randomly. It's just kind of tedious to fight them. Anyway, that's kind of the Maiden of Lust. Obviously wasn't the last time we've seen her. But we've crossed this tower, we've gone down, so...
Close now. So close.
Look. So we now have to cross a bit of area at Crater again. To make it to the next tower. I'm not certain if in this particular one we still get the Heralds of Pestilence. Like if you remember those guys which stuck their arms in the ground and caused severe damage. Those are really annoying. Especially when you're facing them in something that is able to mess up your movement, basically. Like this. Fetishes, fight for me!
A perfect strike.
Very good. That was a bit messy, but it worked out. Yes, there was one more thing I was gonna say, but I'll actually do that next episode. So after this fight... Oh dear, what a fight it is.
The truth burns you.
Seems like we're done. Yeah. So I'll see you next time. Bye bye.